What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is your transfer special, plus a review for our very first pre-season game, which is still ongoing at the moment. I'm not sure how long's left, maybe 20 minutes, something along the lines of that. Not exactly either a star-studying, glittering, end-to-end blockbuster game. It's the first game of pre-season. You get what you're given. It is what it says on the tin. But we will break that down, certain incidents that have already happened. We're going to talk about Matthijs de Ligt, the deal being potentially delayed, and are we switching our attention to another centre-back who Bayern Munich are linked with. We're going to talk about Joshua Zirkzee. We've got some more details on his wages, and his contract at United. We're going to talk about Casemiro now, Saudi stepping up their interest in that individual player. Also, rumours about Scott Mctominay, multiple offers coming in for him, but none to United's liking so far. And like I said, we're going to do a review of the Rosenborg game towards the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and also subscribe to Real Reds Talk if you're new to the channel, if you're watching this live, watching it later on, or if you're live on TikTok currently at the moment. But yeah, let's kick things off with this de Ligt deal, because this is the main headline at the moment, and this is coming from Florian Plettenberg out of Germany, saying there's still no final agreement between Manchester United and Bayern Munich for Matthijs de Ligt. The final offer from Man United is still missing, so they're not put anything up yet. You know, they've agreed terms with de Ligt, the contract, he's happy with that, everything's done on that side, but why had they still not agreed a fee with Bayern Munich? There was talks of 42 million euros with add-ons and stuff. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So what are they doing? Are they breaking it down? Are they doing it like Zirkzee in terms of like Klarna payments? Let's say they're paying it like per year. Do Bayern potentially want more of an up? Or maybe it's something a little bit more worrying. You don't really know at this point, do you? So yeah, with Matthijs de Ligt, look, I hope it's a deal we can get through. I hope Bayern Munich don't start being difficult about it. But one thing that is very interesting, and this coming from the same journalist, Man United have inquired about Ligt and Tah in recent days. United are aware that there is no agreement between Bayern Munich and Bayer Leverkusen yet on that player. Now, what's interesting about this is Ligt and Tah was the player who basically Bayern Munich was going to replace de Ligt with. So are United then briefing this or putting this out, or are agents putting pressure on Bayern Munich to, to get this deal, the wheels moving on it? Because if they find out, oh, United are interested in our target now, we need to get this moving. So we, because it's all transactional, isn't it? It's all linked with each individual player. Do you know what I mean? So I like Ligt and Tah. I think he's a very good player. I certainly won't be turning my nose up at him. Audio's awful. Oh, sorry, people. Sorry about that. Hopefully that's better for you. I was connected to my Bluetooth speaker. I think people kept saying about the audio. I was like, audio's absolutely fine. Is that better? Let me know. Let me know if it's changed, because it was connected to Bluetooth. I have no idea why. Everything's fucking going wrong today, honestly. Let me know, people in TikTok. Is the audio okay? Much better. Awesome. Sorry about that. Apologies, people. It was literally going through the Bluetooth speaker. That's why it sounded fucking terrible. Right, yeah. So Ligt and Tah, I'm a fan of. I think he's a very good player. Had a really good season with Bayer Leverkusen. He looked good for Germany. Obviously starts alongside Antonio Rudiger. Physical, strong. Not too bad on the ball either. He's got a good age profile. So, it's not as if I'm just looking at de Ligt and saying he's the only possible centre-back that Manchester United can go and buy just because he's worked with Erik ten Hag before. No, you got to, range your possibilities. I do think it's just a case of putting pressure on Bayern Munich to get this deal over the line, and maybe they are being a bit fussy about certain payments, but Ligt and Tah is an interesting player, and if United went and got him, then, it'd show that they're moving proactively rather than reactively. Now Bayern Munich have to react to what we're doing. And yeah, it could just be a case of you see in the morning tomorrow that the de Ligt deal's eventually been sorted, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. David Harrington said, do you see all the stories going around today that de Ligt has been agreed? Someone called Nick Samarano saying it's 42 million, 170k a week. A lot of people jumped on it, but I don't know who he is. Yeah, that Nick Samarano, he might as well be me copy and pasting a Romano tweet and saying that it's done. Like, he's not credible. As far as from the stories I've seen from him, he ain't a credible journalist. So I won't pay too much attention to that. It's just trying to get the jump early, basically. Your audio keeps cutting out. My audio on here as well. What? Getting little bits of a story here. Need to restart. Was getting repeated buffering here. Okay now, though, Nick. I wonder why. I don't know what's... Maybe just people are just... There's some gods up there just saying basically, fuck you. That's what's happening. But hopefully the audio is okay for you guys now. I do apologise about that to both on TikTok and YouTube. These things happen sometimes. It's out of my power. Now, moving on to another Dutch player who's actually come through the door. We don't have to worry about this deal not being done or anything. It is official that Joshua Zirkzee has signed with the club. Now, what's interesting is his contract details have been released. So, Joshua Zirkzee will earn $56,000 per week at Manchester United. 56k. There was rumours when the deal first got done that it was £100,000 a week. I was like, that seems quite inflated considering Ineos want to, you know, bring this wage bill around. I think what works out about £3 million net per season for a youngster. And then even if you want to buff his contracts, you're going to go up to 100,000. So in terms of, that's very good. And you need to start bringing that wage bill down. You know, you got Rafael Varane off the books. He, of course, was on £350,000 a week. You also had Anthony Martial off the books, who was on £250,000 a week. Looking at moving on Casemiro, who's on £300,000 a week. You know, you can see the money really stacking up there in terms of like this space opening up on the wage bill. Of course, you've still got the long-term ones. You've still got Marcus Rashford, who's on £350k a week. You've got Jadon Sancho, who's not too far away from that, who was struggling to sell at the minute. Anthony's on £200k a week. Mount's on £250. Bruno £250. Maguire £200,000 a week. So, you know, if... Who knows? Maguire might move on this summer. That could be another gap that you create, along with a couple of others. But there is no doubt that you need to bring that wage bill down, because when you start signing players, look, De Ligt's agreed to take a wage cut, so that's nice of him, and that's, you know, not a lot of players do that. They demand a certain amount. But when you... The issue is when you have a huge wage bill, when you're trying to sign a player and your only pull, really, at the time under Woodward, I'm talking about, is the attraction of United and the fact we'll give you big wages. We end up in the situation that we are now, where you have players on massive contracts, and if you can't afford to move them on, it takes up a huge chunk of your wage bill. So then you have a huge financial problem on your hands. I think you look at someone like Arsenal, they manage their wage structure really, really well. Like some of their top earners, like £200,000 a week. I know Kai Havertz, when he signed, he's obviously a very recent signing. He's on about 280, 260, let's say. But the majority of them, I think they would surprise you by what they're actually on. And I feel like we need to bring that wage structure down. It just helps with everything else. It helps everything. You talk about financial sustainability. That is something we need to bring way down. And Ineos will know that anyway. So giving Joshua Zirkzee $56,000 per week, that's a very good deal. Very good deal. We paid 33 million. That's pennies in today's game, don't forget. So yeah, really, really happy with that detail. And it looks like Ineos are making a start to try and fix our wage bill. And whilst we're on the topic of that, let's talk about Casemiro. So Sky Sports News are reporting that United are expecting Saudi clubs to formalise strong interest in Casemiro, and this has been the next couple of weeks. We should keep an eye on it. Is not just one club in Saudi. That's the good thing. There's multiple clubs that are interested. I can't remember the names of them. Ronaldo's club, the one that Benzema's at, is it? Like, there's a couple of clubs that are interested. Now, the fee that they're going to pay, despite reports that suggested, I mean, you're seeing some ridiculous stuff out there, like 80 million euros and 90 million euros. Saudi are not going to pay anywhere near that. No way near that. Don't forget when they paid for St. Maximin, it was like 25 to 30 million euros. And even that, there was like ongoing discussions and regulators looking at this deal to make sure it's all legit and blah, blah, blah. So you're not going to see a fee like that for Casemiro. It's just not going to happen. We'll probably recoup 25 to 30 mil, I would say. Like I said, though, going back to the wage bill, getting him off that will open up for another transfer. So maybe that's when you see them legs start moving. Maybe you'll see a transfer like Ugarte become a lot more serious, because there's interest there in Ugarte at the moment. We've spoke to him. You know, we've said we like the player. I don't think it's not as advanced as a De Ligt deal or anything, but there's interest. There's definitely interest there, and they've spoken to PSG representatives. But are they waiting for like this Casemiro deal to go through? You know, we get 30 mil, his wages off the books, and we get Ugarte for 38 to 40. Again, you're talking about sustainability. You're talking about your net spend. I mean, let me put it this way: you signed Zirkzee for 33 million, right? You signed Ugarte for 38, De Ligt for 42. I'm trying to think who else we've been linked with, and let's say you get Euro for 50. What does that work out? Around 150 to 200 million pounds somewhere. But the wages that you took off the bill with Varane and Martial, we've made 50 million in sales already. If the Greenwood one goes through, you get rid of Casemiro. Like, your net spend's going to end up being about probably under 100 million. And you would have brought in 3, 4, maybe 5 players. So you look at it like that, it's smart, they're effective, and they're efficient. That's what we all wanted in the window, was it not? So I'm happy with that, absolutely. I've heard other things that the Ligt deal is as good as done, and we're waiting just on the announcement. That's for the same thing from that Serrano. Again, that could be announced in the next couple of hours, but as it stands right now, from the credible journalist, Florian Plettenberg, for example, no fee's been agreed yet, and they're still in talks. So it's stalling at the moment. People expected it to happen early this week. Not happening yet. I'm sure the base wages are 56k, but there's some good bonuses in the contract. Well, that's fine, because if he reaches the bonuses, then that's okay. You know, and that's absolutely fine. It's worth paying then, isn't it? In that sense. Hope that's true. Be good to attracting talent for more money than change. That's what we want. Yala, good news, performance-related pay. Yeah, I agree. Let's have a look. You can't sell McTominay. He single-handedly dismantled Spain. Yeah. If you've watched him for United week in, week out, we absolutely can sell McTominay. I mean, I like McTominay, but again, that's another one that's pure profit. So if Ineos get an offer for McTominay, you can guarantee they're definitely going to listen to it. It's good for the Bucks. We should get 35 mil at least for Casemiro, I think. Maybe, yeah. Vincent saying, wow, Casemiro's been very poor in this game against Norwegian club. Yeah, I watched the first half. I mean, I was going to watch the full game, and this sounds bad. I watched the first half. I was like, this is shit. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's the first game of preseason. The atmosphere was dry as fuck. You know, the rhythm, very slow. Nothing. Even the big players didn't really do much. You had Rashford who nutmegged the player. Mount looked okay in spots. Casemiro still looks laggy and slow, and very slow to react to certain situations. So nothing new there. Yeah, I agree, Vince. Fabinho went from Liverpool for around 40 million, I think. He's slightly younger than Casemiro, though. I think it just depends whatever team's willing to pay, innit? Like, the market's here, there, everywhere. It can honestly just be what they're willing to pay. Kerwin Nixon, Casemiro needs to have a realistic talk with himself. Could he hold up at this pace in the EPL? This is what I'm saying. I have huge question marks over Casemiro. I think his body is just deteriorating at this point. I think he can't deal with the rhythm of the Premier League. He needs to go to another league, slightly slower. And he can still be that good defensive midfielder, just not in the Prem for Manchester United. I just think that ship has sailed for me. I'd be absolutely astonished if Casemiro plays how he did this season in his first season. Honestly, I'd be shocked, extremely shocked. Dan Errington saying Fabinho went for that money after winning things at Liverpool and had a really good season. Casemiro hasn't played well at all. Plus, Donny was on £140 a week. Yeah, don't forget about the milkman's wages. What about the shameful sale of Big Willie for 10 million? Yeah, the last one I'm saying, like, we made 50 million sales roughly from all the sales that we've done so far in Greenwood, Camboire, Donny, but with bonuses rising. There's a couple of other players that we've let go as well. So it's around 50 million. There's talks that even the Saudis are tightening their belts this season, Dino. Yeah, exactly. It's not, people just think they're going to throw fucking 200 million at Casemiro. It's just, no, not going to do it. Adeliana Braga says, Jorge, I can't, I don't know if that's Portuguese or not, but I would have read it out. I don't know what it means, so it could be something really bad. So I don't want to say it just in case, but I appreciate the comment as always. Now let's talk about Scott McTominay. So this is coming from Samuel Luckhurst, everyone's favourite journalist. Not. He's saying Manchester United are understood to have rejected early bids for Scott McTominay amid mounting interest in the midfielder. Now, I kind of hoped that Fulham would renew their interest in McTominay after the sale of Paulinho to Bayern Munich, which I'm not even sure has gone through yet or not. I'm pretty sure it's the done deal, right, Paulinho? So I had hoped that they would then reinvest that money in McTominay. You actually think about it, it's mad. I think Bayern Munich offered around 40 million for Paulinho. What do we want for McTominay? We wanted 30 mil last season, or we rejected 30 mil, I think, from West Ham, did we? And then he's gone on and scored. Would he get double figures last season? Scored quite a lot of goals, didn't he? So what do we want for him now? Still good age. I think we'd want at least 30 to 40 mil. So then, that's not good for Fulham, that. Let's sell Paulinho, one of the best defensive midfielders in the league, at least, in my opinion, as a pure 6, to then go and buy McTominay with the same amount of money and maybe have 5-6 mil left over. It just doesn't really make sense, does it? So maybe that's why they've not gone down that route. I mean, they might come back in for him towards the end of the window, but I've seen some of the silly offers from Turkey, I think it is, like McTominay and who was it? McTominay and Wan-Bissaka for like 15 million euros, 20 million euros. Like them kind of deals, you don't even open your email if you see that. Like Bing, Besiktas will offer 15 to 17 with 2 add-ons. Like, yeah, shut up. You want to get good cash. If I'd be pretty upset with Wan-Bissaka, it's slightly different because he's only got a year left on his deal. So there's only so far you can go on that fee. I would still expect us to recoup 20 to 25 mil for Wan-Bissaka, even with a year left, because he's a specialist right back, and I think he could make a difference in a lot of teams. With Scott McTominay, I still think you should get 30 mil there. You know, it all adds together. If Wan-Bissaka goes, you're going to have to get replacements, whether people like McTominay or whether they like Wan-Bissaka. You have to bring someone else to fill in. You can't just let McTominay go and say, oh, that's, it is what it is. He's still a squad player and has had important moments for us. So, absolutely, I'd be rejecting them kind of bids that are coming in from Turkey because they're absolutely awful, shocking bids. How have United played? I know it's very young lineup, mainly. Honestly, it was boring. It was really, really boring. I'm not going to lie. I watched the first half and I was like, this is just... They look like the better team. They hit the bar, they hit the post. I'm surprised they not score. I don't know what the score is at the moment. Let me just get it up. But I won't be surprised if they scored. It was absolutely shocking. Still 0-0, 90 plus 2. That tells you everything you need to know about that game. It was like watching your granddad do bowls, mate. That's the only way I can describe it. The money they'll save in wages, they can relocate to younger, cheaper players with potential. Yep, agreed. We rejected 40 million last year, but he's going into hospital last year of his contract of the season. Your boy Zach says, so what's happening with Ligt? I spoke about that at the start of the show. I don't want to cover old ground, so if you want to know about that, let's go back to the start. Man of the match in this friendly has to go to our young goalkeeper. Yeah, Vitek was good. I agree, Vince. Vitek was very good. But again, he had a lot of shots to stop, didn't he? So, Kerwin Nixon, has anyone looked at Lenny Yoro's contract? He's still on less than 7k per week. It's crazy to stay one more year and hoping Madrid will guarantee they take him next season. I think he's just following the Camavinga blueprint. Yeah, I think he's just looking at that and thinking, if I want to make this move happen, Real Madrid definitely want me. I've got to develop one more year at a club at Lille when I'm in the Champions League. It's not the worst thing in the world, is it? We're looking at it from red-tinted glasses that we're at United, and like, how can anyone turn down United when, Rosenborg have just scored? That's great. We'll break that down for the review because I think that's the only thing we can talk about. But in all seriousness, yeah, I don't know. I'm lost. I don't know what I was talking about there because that goal's completely distracted me. But we've lost our first preseason game, which is a great start to our season in it for Manchester United. Love to see that. I'm just checking. Vince has sent us something. What's going on? Yeah, don't that Nick Serrano. He's trying to get the jump on it earlier. Honestly, I won't take too much from it. Who scored for Rosenborg? That's what I'm trying to find out. Anyone get the name? We actually really like one of their players, don't we? From what I've seen. I'm trying to find out who scored. Again, it doesn't really matter, actually. Yeah, look, I was going to end the show with a review of the game anyway. And this is going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done on this channel. And the reason for that is there was fuck all to break down from the game. There was nothing. Apart from that goal that I've not seen, the rest of the game, it was slow tempo. They had the majority of attacks. I was excited to see some of the youngsters and the cameos. Again, it's the first game of pre-season. You're not going to have rhythm. You're not going to have fitness. It's going to be a little bit all over the place. They make a lot of changes. So you can't expect the world. But I was excited to see some of the youngsters, and I was still like, Collier had some nice flicks, some nice touches. Amas looked okay. Vitek was very good. I think he'd been on loan at Accrington Stanley. But yeah, apart from that, there was just nothing from it. There was absolutely nothing from it. Just fitness in the legs. I'd like to know when the players are coming back. So some of the big boys. So when's Rasmus, Bruno, Garnacho, Lissandro, Onana, Dalot, when are these guys? What's the plan for them to come back. And also as well, the others that are already back, but apparently they're on like an individual thing. I don't know what it is. Sancho, Ahmad, Antony, when's Maguire going to be back? Like, this is the issue I have sometimes with international tournaments, because obviously with the Copa America, you've had Garnacho and Lissandro win it, so they was there at the end, and then Kobbie Mainoo and Luke Shaw, they was in it at the end, so they're going to be stalled coming back. Zirkzee wants a rest. He's just done his medical and that, but he got to the semi-finals with the Netherlands after a long season, so it's patchy, and I don't like it when it's patchy coming back, because you can do your best work tactically and your best coaching during pre-season. And when we don't have a lot of players available, or players are out due to fitness, in Malacia or Maguire's case, it's patchy and inconsistent, and you don't get a full flow and rhythm then going into the season. Now, we aren't the only club. Obviously, there are other clubs with similar issues. You know, Saliba went far for France, etc., etc., etc. Like, they're going to have weeks off. I just don't like it for the prep, for the start of the season. And I'd be very interested to see. I'll tell you what, if anyone can guess the starting 11 in our first game against Fulham on the Friday, I'd be astonished, because I have no idea who's going to start that game. Literally no idea. I'd like to think it'd be Onana, Dalot, De Ligt, Lissandro, Shaw, Ugarte, Bruno, Mainoo, Ahmad, Højlund, Garnacho. I'd love to think it'd be that, or, you know, Garnacho, Højlund and Rashford. But I don't see it. I don't see it. I think people are going to come back a little bit leggy. I think they're going to need to get up to speed. And yeah, after the season we've just had with all the injuries and players being out left, right, centre, players playing in multiple different positions, I don't see it. And also, what's happening with Amrabat? Because Amrabat's just on the side there. So he's going to be another one who, let's say we do end up buying him, he's literally just going to be sat at the side. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I know I sound really negative, and maybe it is just because of the performance, but it's just like, ugh. It really is, ugh. Did you see the Colombian fans getting into the stadium through the ventilation system? I did, and I tell you what, South America is mad in it. It's absolutely mental. And don't forget, they're hosting a World Cup across South America, America, and North America in 2026. That is going to be absolutely hectic. That is going to be crazy. Having games in, like, I mean, I've not even had a look properly at the thing, but I'm pretty sure there's a couple in South America. There's some in Canada, in Vancouver and Toronto, potentially. And then spread out across America. I see some issues arising there. Especially the way the world's going at the moment. You look at what happened with Trump the other day. The world's going crazy, man. And like you said, obviously slightly different thing with the Colombian fans. You had Nunez throwing a fucking chair as some of the fans, as the Colombian fans, like, they are crazy over there. So, yeah. Do you think Notts County have a chance of coming back up to the Premier League? I'm going to be honest with you, Thorn. I don't have a clue where they are. And what are they, League 2? League 3? If so, I mean, have as much wish as you can. And I hope for you, Thorn, they do. There you go. Andy Williams is saying, I hate it, only a fitness session. Yeah, that's it, mate, innit? You might as well go and put a GoPro in the gym and watch that, because that's what that first game was. And I dampened my expectations after the last preseason, because I thought the last preseason was crap. Absolutely crap. So I had no kind of motivation or excitement watching that first game. I watched the first half, got a bit of a taste for it. I want to get England out of my mind because of the disappointment last night, and I want to focus on United. So if that's what we have to start, hopefully that's the bottom level that we get, and it's with pre-season naturally slowly increases, and then we can get up to speed when the big boys come back and start having a look at what style of play we're going to implement, you know, how we're looking rhythm-wise, are we shifting it about quickly, do players like Marcus Rashford look back to the best, is Mason Mount going to have a good season? They're the things I'm excited about, and they're the things I want to see personally, but it's going to be a couple of weeks before we start seeing them things, but hopefully, you know, Ten Hag has set his stall out with the youth players coming through in the likes of, you know, with Mainoo and Garnacho. If you want to break into that team now, they're the kind of levels that you've got to reach. So he's setting the bar. He's like, you want to break into this? Start putting in performances like these guys consistently, because they was playing like senior pros last year, way ahead of the time, especially Kobbie. Like, he plays like a veteran. So these youngsters looking at it saying, it's possible. You know, I've seen two players who we used to play with do it. but you have to show a very high level on a regular basis. And I think players like Amas and players like Collier, and maybe there'll be a couple of surprises in there, maybe an Ethan Wheatley, them kids can push through. But yeah, we need to see a little bit more in pre-season, because that's your window, innit? That's your opportunity, you know, when you can see them pure how they are, and you know, with some of the senior players around them as well. But it's a little bit harsh to judge so much. Like I said, it's the first game of pre-season. Like, we need to relax it a little bit. Yeah, but the thing is, someone died right next to you. Who would you go and play golf with the next day? What is wrong with this world? What? If someone died right next to you, would you go... Oh, you're on about Trump. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, look, there's many conspiracies with that. We could be here for hours discussing Donald Trump. It was mad, wasn't it? Kobe Mainu says, I can't believe a last-minute winner. I know, but it is what it is. Nunes threw everything, didn't hit anything, but he tried, of course. Of course, it's Darwin Nunes, isn't it? Why are fans whining about our first pre-season game against the team 16 games into their season? Weird. Yeah, I agree, McMillan. We need to lower the criticism just a little bit. The way people are reacting, it's like we just lost a fucking final or something. But yeah, I'm sure you'll see all the cliches, and you know what I don't like? Just whilst I'm on top of it, and I'll kind of end the show with this the last couple of minutes. I don't know if anyone's the same. I don't care in the future if I work with MUTV or whatever it is. I think they are the most polished, like, nicey nice media I've ever seen in my life. I don't like that. I like real, like this kind of stuff. Not just saying it because it's our channel, but other content as well that you watch. Stretford Paddock, for example. Like, you want real, authentic fan content. And when you watch MUTV, it's like they're only allowed to say certain things. It's like someone's got a cardboard behind the camera and they've got like a gun to their head and they're like, make sure you say this. You know, oh, how well does the sponsor look on the shirt? Yeah, it's great. Everything's amazing. Nothing's ever, you can't criticize anything at all. It's, you know, the golden spoon. It's this, it's that. It's amazing. There's nothing wrong with the club. You know, I remember ex-players fucking criticizing, Sam mentioned it in the chat before, he reminded me, Lou Macari criticised the Glazers, and you didn't see him again on MUTV for ages. I hate polished media. And the commentators as well. I'm just like, I know they might be legends, but the guy who does the presenting, who knows his name, he must be a lovely lad, but he strikes me as the type of guy, you know, to if he was to sleep with his missus, he'd say sorry. You know, like overly nice, like too nice. Like, come on, give it a bit of grit, give it a bit of, oh, you know. This is what fans want to hear. They don't want to hear everything's amazing and rainbows and fucking... I hate that kind of stuff. Nepan from Rosenborg is some talent. Wasn't United looking at him before? Yeah, we've scouted him for a few years. You know, maybe he's given something to think about. Something feels wrong, though. I know it's the first game, but I expect a lot more. Yeah, I understand that. I understand your concerns. David Harrington saying it's not leaky roof, it's a tool for watering the grass. Yeah. There it is. David's just summed it up perfectly. Yeah, that's what he'd probably say. You know, the Glazers, you're not fixing the stadium roof for ages, what it is. Oh, no, they're just watering the grass, mate. They're just watering the grass, that's all it is. Toby Collier looks really good. Yeah, I think he could be the next one. I also think United fans need to be careful with expectations of players. Like, they need to down that a little bit. You know, not every player that comes through is going to be the next Kobe Mainu. Everyone's going to expect that now. It's like, all right, well, we produced 2 this year. There's going to be another 2 this year. It don't work like that, you know. Maybe he'll have a decent career. Maybe he'll be a squad player at United. It's, you know, every player has different paths. Remember that. That's you never getting a job at MUTV. You've not sold yourself well there, Nick. I don't give a shit. I don't want a job at MUTV. I love doing this. The reason why we call it real Reds talk is because it's authentic. It's not polished. It's not bullshit. It's genuine. You get asked a question, you tell the truth, or you give your opinion on it, regardless of what people might think or react to it. Do people not prefer that? I certainly do. Andy Williams, so what's the crack on De Ligt? I did speak about it at the start. It's stalling slightly. Again, I don't know if it's because of the structure of payments. If United want to do similar to what they did with Zirkzee. I know there's other journalists who are reacting to it to try and get the jump on it, but yeah, we're not even put a bid in properly yet. So that needs to be done first. We've agreed personal terms and wages and stuff with the player. That's amazing, fantastic. But we need to get the ball rolling now with this. Get De Ligt in. we've got Zirkzee and Ligt then first 2 players in pre-season, and then we can focus on other targets like Awate, Yoro or Brandway if we do go back in for him, which I don't see that deal happening at all now, by the way. Really don't see that. So yeah, I think, and Yoro's, I've always said as well, with Yoro, I've been consistent that I don't think we'll get him either. So United may end up pivoting to another centre-back who we've not heard of or been linked with strongly. He could have someone else in mind. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. Thank you very much for all the follows on TikTok. Appreciate every single one of you. Please do subscribe to Real Reds Talk, whether you're live watching this now or later on, or if you're on TikTok watching me on a live currently. Hit that subscribe button if you love regular football content and regular lives. And yeah, make sure you drop a follow on socials. Appreciate everyone tuning in consistently, taking time out of the day to drop their opinions in the comments. That's what it's all about. We love the interaction. And yeah, of course, if anything breaks, we shall go live. So turn on that notification bell because transfer news could pop off at any moment. And we'll be one of the quickest to react to it, as you guys know. So yeah, appreciate every single one of you. If nothing breaks tonight, then we shall see you again tomorrow. Let's see what's in store for United fans, shall we? United lose their first game of pre-season 1-0. Hopefully not a benchmark for how we're going to play for the rest of the season. But it's early days. It's early days.